Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Politics. I'm here with John Bullenball, and you were an employee for Enbridge years ago, and you've been the main whistleblower, really exposing just the spills from that company, the cover-ups to kind of make it seem like all the spills have been cleaned, the hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people that have been sick as a result, and now you're on the ground here at Standing Rock. Could you kind of just tell me your history first, how long you worked for Enbridge? I know that it's kind of in your family working for oil companies, and kind of what made you part ways with them.
So my brother got me a job. He's one of the top guys in the industry, and my whole family works for oil companies. We put in pipe. That was my job. I was a fencing foreman for a while. I'm in the union, and I worked on a couple pipelines. The oil spill happened in Battle Creek, Michigan, Kalamazoo, Marshall, right in the area, and they called me up, said, "John, get up here." You know, they called all union members. And I left Florida, drove straight up, started working. Enbridge appointed me to be the yard boss, which is the biggest yard for the biggest spill in United States history. So I was in charge of that, trying to get things organized and stuff. Then I just became a normal union worker, oil cleanup guy, just like everybody else, you know. And I was watching them bury oil, cover it up. I couldn't believe it. I seen thousands of dead animals. I seen 40 miles of dead fish. And they were telling us not to tell people that there was dead fish and dead animals and stuff like that. And I watched them. They started rotating the crew, so you never knew if it was clean. But then I became one of the members of a crew called SCAT team. And on that SCAT team, we were the last team that said it was clean. So I knew that it was a cover-up, because when we said it was clean, if it was clean, it was clean. And I was satisfied. But the thing is, most of the areas they said, "Hey, we're leaving, it's clean," and it wasn't. And so I went up to the head of Enbridge at one of these sites and said, I went to the EPA prior to this. I went to the news. I've been documenting all this. It's, you know, you've been burying oil and covering it up. And the next morning I was fired by the subcontractor called SCT Environmental. And so I just, they called me a liar, and I proved them wrong. I proved them wrong so much they had to redig up over $600 million worth of work digging up this buried oil. Then I went to 1,400 homes, every door that was within reason of the river, and 200 people showed up that were sick. And I had 1 hour of battery. I had no idea that this was going to be like an Aaron Brockovich situation.
This is in Michigan.
In Michigan. And so I started interviewing these people, and there was a line 30 long, and I only interviewed 5 before my battery ran out. And so I started just meeting people, people having seizures in front of me, tumored animals, people telling me their family member has passed away, their son, their daughter, you know, they had seizures after the spill and died. And so I became emotionally attached to this. This was now a mission. You know, I'm the prosecutor going against this big bully, this corporation that lied about the air sample test, didn't evacuate people properly. They evacuated people 10 days after the spill. In this trailer park, 16 people passed away. You know, I mean, 2 people that were right around 40 died within 2 months. The chemicals are just havoc on your system. We have 5 to 7 kids with leukemia right now. In our local high school. I know 5 for sure, and I've heard 7. And there could be more that I don't even know about. And so I'm just trying to help Standing Rock. I've been out here twice in the last month, and just trying to get the word out about what's going on. I've been to the Yellowstone spill, Mayflower, Arkansas spill, and it's the same thing. Every place I go, sick residents, contamination covered up. And I'm just trying to make a documentary about this. And thank you for, you know, telling my story, because I need people to just watch the videos.
The video is jarring. I mean, you look at rivers, water sources, and their signs. You know, go fishing. Everything's good, or oil spill cleaned up, and then you go into the water. A lot of this has tar sands there, and you dig under the tar sand, and you come out like Men in Black. I mean, you're just filled with oil. You show video of people catching fish that are just full of tumors and oil, and a lot of people are still Like we've seen dogs go in the water in your video, come out with tumors. You see people eating the fish, who, I'm sure getting sick. But it's kind of like the corruption and in my view, immorality is out in the open because, again, you see the signs like go fishing, everything's good. Why, if this is the case, has Enbridge and companies like it not been held accountable? Because we see it spills in Dakota and elsewhere. They spill and they leave. They don't clean it up, like you said.
They've never had a John Bolenball. Every spill, it's like this. They've never had anybody give up a $100,000 a year job to tell the truth and not take the money from a settlement. I've never settled with Enbridge. Enbridge has offered me money and I haven't settled. I still have a lawsuit against them. They filed motions. I can't talk about the sick people. I can't talk about my daughter's deformity. I can't talk about my kidney being messed up. I can't talk about the cover-up at all. I mean, it's just crazy what the court systems get. It's like they're owned by these oil companies. The police actually were against me at first, thought I was some crazy guy, disgruntled worker, and now they do interviews with me. Now they're saying, John, this is like the Alamo in the Mexican army. I hope it doesn't turn out the same way, but you can't quit what you're doing. This is from my local sheriff. I got a police chief that specifically said, Enbridge told me to cover up oil with dirt and grass. I have other police officers saying, John, I'm sick. And I don't think these people are faking dying. You can't fake dying. So I'm starting to get interviews with very important people that are validating everything I've said. And when I reported the cover-up, there was still that skeptic, is John telling the truth? And now I have city commissioners saying, I was at the meetings, Enbridge said it was clean. We've seen the documents where EPA signed off on it 3 times, Enbridge signed off on it, and DEQ in Michigan. And they said it was clean. They restored it. They landscaped it. They put grass over it. And they re-cleaned it up because of you, John. You're the reason they re-cleaned it up. I've had so many people testify under oath now. I mean, it's out there. There is no denying. These workers have came forward and said, yes, we covered up oil. We buried oil. We were told to do it. It was a cover-up. And so I need you. Thank you for watching this. And I just need attention just to watch the videos to help me get exposure. I got to get this documentary out. I have so much footage. I got to get editors. I got to hire people. I got to figure this out somehow. And I'm just one man. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I just follow what I feel God wants me to do. So I thank you again.
I'd say I'm the same way. I'm usually faking it till I make it. Now, you said the EPA signs off on this. What does that mean? Because if all it takes is one man to go in the water with a shovel, dig through the sand, and oil comes out, what is the EPA doing? Do they have people actually checking? It seems like that either there's direct negligence going on, or something worse.
So the way that EPA does their testing, they take a spoon and they put sand on, dirt, contaminants, whatever, and they squirt water on it. And if sheen pops up, then they say if it's clean or dirty or whatever. And in this situation, that test doesn't work. They have to get in with a rake. They have to, put their gloves in there. I would take my glove and fill it up with oil, and then I would take it and put it in the water and go like this. The reason why I would do that is because mud won't stick to your glove. So I can't fake it. In the court of law, that's oil. It's sticking. And I had, so many reporters go out. This is big. It's companies profit from oil spills. Every single pipeline leaks. They all leak, even the brand new ones. If there is less than 1.5% loss in pressure, no alarms will go off. So on a $500,000 or 500,000 gallon a day pipeline, you could legally, without any alarms going off, and I say legally because no one will know about it, you could have 5,000 gallons easily drip out 5 gallons here, 10 gallons here, 20 in this lake, 5 gallons in this river. And no one will ever know. No alarms will go off, but it's slowly giving us cancer, slowly poisoning us. And it's just sickening. Another thing that happens is when I say that these companies profit from oil spills, if they shut down a pipe to fix it, let's say Michigan, they knew the pipe was bad for 5 years. If they shut it down, then they lose $8 million a day. It was $8 to $9 million a day. It takes 30 to 60 days to fix it. They just lost a few $100 million. If they wait for a spill, they still have all the profit on a daily basis for those 5 years that they got. Then the insurance company hires them to clean up their own mess. Insurance company pays for lost revenue. They raise the gas prices. They buy all the property in the local areas for 70% instead of, what it's worth. And then they sell the property later after they say it's clean, sell it for 120%, and they have people sign off saying if they get sick, they can't sue. And so it's very profitable. They own the cleanup materials. They own the cleanup companies. They make money when there's spills, and so they don't care about it leaking. If they just fixed all the old pipes, there would be so much work that they would have to hire more union people. There is too much work out there for these union guys, and that's why it makes me so mad when these union guys say, well, this is jobs. We need jobs. Just fix the old pipes, and you'll have jobs all day long. And, with the XL pipeline, they said there was 100,000 jobs to build that pipeline. There's like 2,000 jobs. You can't count a waitress getting a tip from a worker as a job, but they do. And it's just, I drove all the way to Texas to give a 3-minute speech. Money out of my pocket. I've spent $100,000 on this, just trying to expose big oil. And got any questions?
So, the just a layman watching who would be like, okay, cause and effect. You see pipeline after pipeline after pipeline around the country, leaks, bursts, people getting sick, dead animals, and on and on. So you would think, okay, well, we have an EPA. Why would they keep green lighting? Why is this Dakota Access Pipeline even up for discussion? So that's where I get into the thought process of, okay, maybe the government's in on it,
So I believe the EPA is a part of this. I believe because they travel around these spills with the oil companies and they become friends with them. If me and you travel around, we're going to become friends. Even if we're on the wrong side, you meet at the bar and you have a drink and you just become buddies. So some of them turn a blind eye. My brother's an environmental inspector, and I interviewed him. It took me 2 years to get my brother, after he quit kind of working for them anymore. It took me 2 years. I had to drive to Florida before he would talk, and my sister was pissed. She said, how dare you interview my husband? He will never be able to work for the oil industry anymore. But he felt guilty about what happened in Michigan. And he specifically said, yeah, John, there was a cover-up. He's an environmental inspector. He knows way more than I do. And he's got the education to say this is a cover-up. And he said there's a cover-up. It took me years to prove that. Him saying that he's got the validation with his credentials. But he specifically said they buy him steak dinners, they take him out. He said, I think the EPA is bought off by the government. And I believe that. I truly believe that. Well, the government is owned by the oil companies. That's the truth. And so these big oil, think about it. So all these pipelines are not being built for the United States. China owns a great deal of all of this. A lot of the foreign companies own this. We export more oil than anything in the country. Why are we exporting something that we need so bad? We don't need it as much as they think. We can go solar and wind. I'm not against oil. I'm not against pipelines. We need responsible oil. We need to fix the old pipelines. In Michigan, they built a new pipeline right next to the old one, said they were going to just build a new one, shut the old one down, and what did they do? They built a new one, and now they're both running. So they lied to all of us. They 100% lied to get that new pipe. And logical for me to say, hey, yeah, it's a 6-year-old pipe, build a new one. But it's not logical to build a new one and have both of them working now. I've gave speeches 4 or 5 years ago on C-SPAN talking about security. What if why would they want to go on our aquifer? What's the logical reason for that when they already own an easement? I worked on the Keystone 1 pipeline. It goes through North Dakota, South Dakota. Why would you want to go through the largest aquifer in the United States for this new pipeline? Go through all the easement issues and everything. I believe it's because they want to suck the water out. Or what if they want to go to war 50 years from now and they blow up that pipeline? We lost all that fresh water. They blow up the pipeline going through Lake Michigan. We lose all that fresh water. And one day we could lose most of our fresh water. We'd cripple the United States in one day. It could happen. And so that's what I'm worried about. It's for our kids. I have a 1 and a 2-year-old little girls, and I'm scared for their future. What if they can't go swimming? It bothers me. So I'm fighting for our water.